Hi everyone, and welcome to this video on why I flipped my classroom and what a flipped classroom looks like. So flipped classroom is a whole model of teaching. It is not just one simple thing, but I'm going to put it simply here to get us started. So it is when you have the homework as the lecture, and in class you are practicing the concepts. So what does this look like in my room? In my room, students are assigned Module 5, let's say. They go home, they watch the Module 5 video. It is 10 to 15 minutes at max. They pause where they need to, and they take handwritten notes. That is the homework every time. They know what it is, they know how long it is, and how long it takes them, which I love about this model. They come into class, they have questions. There are parts of the video they didn't understand. The more challenging concepts, I focus the majority of class to activities that help them grasp that really difficult part of class. But the simpler stuff, we don't have to go over it and spend our valuable time together going over basic definitions because I've already done that and I've given them examples outside of the classroom. So they come in, they ask questions, we take a low stakes homework quiz, which is based on the video, not including really complex stuff because we're going to dig deeper into that later and check for understanding on the test. And then the majority of class is that digging deeper and application part. So it's flipping Bloom's taxonomy. So what is the definition of a correlation? Here's an example. That's now at home, but getting a research study and deciding, is this a correlation? Is this an experiment? And why? Why are they different? That part is now in class. They're working with peers, they're working with their teacher to understand how to apply those basic concepts that they learned at home. So I have 3 key reasons why I flipped, and I could go on for a long time, so I'm going to keep this brief, but number 1 has to be the learning at your own pace. Oh my gosh, I cannot just love this part of it anymore. So in a traditional classroom where the teacher is lecturing, they are working to the middle of that up to 20 students, right? There are students who are struggling to keep pace, and there are students who are bored because of how slow it's going. And you are working in that middle to try to keep everyone where they need to be. Well, the students who are struggling, or the students who are bored, or the students in the middle, all of them are also going to be trying to do a multitude of things. There's slides on the board, projected on the board. The teacher is talking. There's probably noises in the room. The kid next to them might be like tapping their shoes. They're hungry. This allows them to take control of their learning environment. They should be listening to this video in an environment with headphones on or in a quiet room where they can pause and they can take the time down to write down whatever the teacher just said but wasn't in the slides. They can take time to pause and write down what was in the slide before the teacher moves on. If they had a question at that part, they can write a little note and say, I want to ask this question. And they know that there will be time to answer questions when they come into that room. That's the first thing that we do. If a student is absent, while you can do extra help, kind of going over complex things. You can give them practice worksheets. You really can't replace missing lecture. And these can add up with athletic dismissals or doctor's appointments and illness. So having the lecture always there, it has really helped so many of my students. They go on college visits and they miss school, or they have athletics, they miss school. Or they want to go back and look at something from a previous unit for the midterm. They can go back and review as many times as they want. Number 2, increase individual attention and differentiated learning. This is kind of 2 into 1, but every single class I am able to meet with every single student and check in and see them as they process that complex topic. So if we're learning classical conditioning, I can watch them as they try to piece out what the different components of classical conditioning are in an application setting. Okay, you know what the definition is, but here's a scenario on learning. Which thing is the unconditioned stimulus? Which thing is the conditioned stimulus? Oh, I thought I knew it because I understand the definition and I can say it to you, but this is hard. And they can talk it out with their peers and they can get extra help. And this is something that in a lecture scenario, you're giving a lot of lecture, you're answering a lot of questions. It might be harder, it is harder to make sure that every student is on track. And I can also read the room a lot easier to see like who needs extra help with what, and I have time to offer that extra help in class. It also means the students who are getting this concept and they're like, oh, classical conditioning, yep, that's the unconditioned stimulus, that's conditioned stimulus, I got all this. They can do that practice work and they can move on to the next mod. It allows for that differentiated instruction. Number 3 is probably the student's favorite. The increased application of content means that we get to do psychology. We get to experience it and we get to interact with our peers and engage with our teachers more. So this just leads to more fun. When I am looking at all of the possible, I've taught psychology for over a decade, and there are so many fun activities you can do, but there's only so much time before you have to move on. So doing the lecture portion, which would take a majority of class, if I'm being honest with you, especially with AP, it would take mostly the whole class, almost the whole class. This allows me to do these activities and know that I have explained what a correlational study is and given them examples, and that they can go back and review anytime they want. This last slide is just showing you some student survey feedback that was in response to how can this class be improved. And this feedback that I got was specific to flipped classrooms, and it's coming from students. I think that means so much. It means so much to me that they really found this helpful. And I change what I do all the time. This is one aspect of my teaching that I have kept. To be honest, it is a lot of front-loading work. It takes a lot of organization and systems in place in order for everything to work smoothly, but it gives students the best chance at success. Yes, they have to put in the work like every single other class, but if they do that, they know what to expect. I have students who they love that routine because Sunday is their day to do their homework, and they do their Monday, Wednesday, Friday homework because they know what it is. It's posted. They know what to expect. It's not 11 o'clock at night, let me call my friend because I don't understand how to do this psych homework. We have to use this document, but the document won't open, or I don't have that thing downloaded. None of that. So just that one example of like a routine and expectation, and what the quizzes look like would be another example. All of that just allows them to have everything that they need to be successful. They just have to put in the work. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope this video was helpful. I hope you have a clear idea of what a flipped classroom is, particularly in my classroom. But if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. Thanks. Have a great day.